Welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka with me, Vasam and Amaya, and of course we have Irushi on the set talking to us about doodles. Now, while you were on a break, we actually, Amaya and I kind of put Irushi on the spot and we asked her, we're going to give you a little challenge. We want you to do a doodle of the two of us. So that's what Irushi is doing right now. She's actually sitting and she's trying to sketch it out. So while she's sketching it out, I'm going to ask her this question. How long does it usually take you to do a simple doodle like this?
Let's see how long I take.
We could time it exactly. Alright.
But usually if it's something more proper, it takes days for me to think and do research about it.
Yeah, but right now she's just doing us a little sketch, she just wants to prove us wrong.
Yeah.
I bet you can't do a doodle of us right now, like in a few seconds. I said, no, I can do it.
And therefore she'll do it, and we, the professional artists that Vasam and I are, we will be critiquing it, of course, very harshly.
And I think while she's doing that, Amaya, don't you have a recap to do or something?
I do have a recap, and this is of the Serendip Cup 2013 that happened at the Racecourse Grounds. On the first match of this particular tournament took place on the 26th of October at the Racecourse Grounds, and it's a beautiful venue, Vasam, because it's newly refurbished, right, the Racecourse Grounds. So everything was like wonderful, and it was the first IRB sanctioned tournament to happen here in Sri Lanka. So that's a great step in itself, but the match itself was very close, heated up right until the end, but unfortunately Sri Lanka were not able to win this time. We lost to Madagascar, so that was 17-12. I'm becoming quite an expert at rugby now.
I know.
all about tries and conversions, and it's an exciting game.
When I first met Amaya, about 4 months ago, I first met Amaya, and we were going to do an interview with a few gentlemen about rugby itself. I'm not a huge rugby fan myself, and Amaya, she just confessed that she just likes to be in the stand and watch the boys run.
Excuse me, what?
She likes to watch the boys run with the boy,
Yeah, I love it. I mean, hey, that's a draw.
But she didn't know much about the game, but from that day to now, I mean, she has just been following the game and she has been really into it. And she was at the location, right? You were at Racecourse Grounds following the game.
Racecourse Grounds. It was a really great game, like played under lights. It was a huge crowd that turned up that day, and we are expecting an even bigger crowd for the matches that are going to be happening later on as well. So there will be Poland versus Madagascar happening on the 29th of October at the Racecourse Grounds, and then there will be Poland versus Sri Lanka, which is the game everyone is really looking forward to here, the Sri Lankan rugby fans, and that's happening on the 1st of November. That's a Friday, so everyone can come there after work, and if you get there a bit earlier at 5:30, there's going to be a match between the Colombo schools as well as versus the Kandy schools. So that's a mixed team happening there on both sides. A great game to watch as well. Some of the best budding young rugby players here in Sri Lanka.
And of course, Amaya, once we do finish this segment with Irushi, when it comes to the next segment, we have a few famous personalities who will be in the studio. I'm not going to mention who right now, but I know the moment we show you them on camera, you're going to know who they are. So we'll be discussing a lot more about this tournament as well with these gentlemen. So stay tuned for that. And right now, we're going to focus back, or we're going to, shift the focus back onto Irushi, because she's just done with her doodle, I think. So how long did you take just about there?
I'm not too sure. Was it a minute? More than that? I'm not too sure.
Probably about 2-3 minutes, right?
Alright, okay.
Okay, so moment of truth.
Yes.
Now, Irushi's done a doodle of Amaya and myself, so let's have a look at that.
Okay, so do I hold it up?
Just point towards the camera.
Okay.
There we go. That's
hang on. We're going to zoom into it.
Yes. I like it. I appear taller. I mean, almost as tall as
I'm going to make a public declaration on Amaya that I want that piece of paper to take
No. During the break, I said that if you draw something, it's mine.
I didn't have a look at that. Wow.
That's really lovely, and that's the fun part about a doodle, right? It's not about being perfect.
It actually looks like the two of us. I'm just going to show it to the camera again, right? Do you see the resemblance? Do you see the resemblance? That's Amaya over there, and of course I don't have to show you that. You can
yeah. There's a girl and there's a boy. I'm the girl, Vasam is the boy.
So yeah. Right. So I get to keep this, right?
Well, you can fight it out.
Okay. We are going to do this during the break because I'm
break.
sure our viewers don't want to see us arguing over this now, Wassam. Please.
Yeah, but what they don't know is after the show there's going to be a big argument about this.
But going on to illustrating your own children's book, are there any plans to sort of write your own children's book because you are a fan of English literature and then illustrate it yourself as well?
Well, yeah, I'm actually working on 2 stories right now, which probably isn't the wisest because I'm not getting anywhere, but I think I should focus on one at a time. But one of them is actually inspired by this family I met when I was studying at the Sabaragama University.
Okay.
So there was a man who owned a kottu shop, and we used to go there all the time to eat. And I was teaching English to his little daughter who was in grade 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually inspired by her because she had never left the village. Like, she had never seen outside the village. So I actually wanted to draw something about her and maybe how she goes out and sees the world or something. But still in the process of being written and drawn. So hopefully sometime next year it will be launched.
And what's the other story?
The other story is actually I came up with a couple of characters, these zoo animals. And I don't know if any of you all have seen it on Facebook. It's called Radio Zoo. So it's basically a bunch of musical animals wearing headphones and with guitars and instruments and all that. So it's just a bunch of musical animals in a zoo and how they maybe start up a radio. It's still in the process of
So
being
hang on,
written.
Hiroshi, now I'm coming back to Pestering Annie.
Okay.
The book is launched, right?
It is launched. It was launched in the middle of this year, in June.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in case people want to grab hold of it, they can just go to some of the bookstores in Sri Lanka and
Yeah.
look for them.
Can I mention?
But they can, I think, get in touch with you on your
Yes, of
Facebook
course,
page and
yeah.
also find out
Yeah,
where you
exactly,
can
yeah.
get the book from.
Yeah, definitely.
Hiroshi.
Yeah.
Great. So what's your relationship with, like, I know you said Maria and John Pillay was your neighbor, right?
Yes, yeah, she was, and then a few
In
years
terms of
back,
the book, what's the relationship like? What parts did she contribute? What parts did you
well,
contribute?
she wrote the book,
Okay.
so that's probably the biggest part.
But you said that
And
you were inspired by the inspiration for the story came from you?
Not exactly, not
Okay.
the story for Pestering Annie.
Okay.
Pestering Annie was all her. She was inspired by, well, her kids, and it's just about how siblings, get into silly arguments and then, sort it out at the end of the day. So it's a really nice book. So
it's sort of like a Quentin Blake, Roald Dahl kind of agreement going on there. Yeah. It completes it. It makes a complete book. Because for children's books, illustrations
Definitely.
are the most important part, I think, because the story is important as
Definitely,
well. But
yeah.
illustrations really do put the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But speaking about your other hobbies now, besides doodling, you mentioned earlier that you like scuba diving as well.
And playing the guitar.
And playing the guitar.
We should
So
have
you're-
got a guitar here, Maya.
oh man, okay.
That's an excellent idea.
Let's
No,
not
next
get
time,
I
carried
don't
next
think
away.
we
time.
can try a guitar now, find a guitar now.
Yeah, we've already harassed her with drawing doodles on air. So
Okay, so well, I just love the two of them. They're what I love doing most. Scuba diving, I wanted to do since I was a kid, but I was only able to get my license after I finished school. And since then, I've been diving all around Sri Lanka. So
What's your
that's
favorite
amazing.
place to dive here in the country?
Probably Trinco.
Okay.
But also Colombo. I actually haven't dived in Colombo yet. There are supposed to be.
Diving in Colombo.
Yeah, you do. You get a lot of shipwrecks and all that. So it's really interesting.
Wow.
And there's a lot of marine life in Colombo as well. So
Because everyone just goes out of Colombo to find marine life, but I never thought that you can just dive off.
no, Colombo
Somewhere
is a
in
pretty
Colombo.
interesting place to dive. Actually, I still haven't, but I've seen a lot of videos and pictures, and I hope to do that one day soon. Hopefully.
So Hiroshi, let's talk about this talent you have
Okay.
and what you are planning to do with it in the future.
Well, like I said, so hopefully the books will be out soon. Hopefully I'll be finishing with that at some point next year. And besides that, I guess I'll just keep drawing for people as long as they want me to draw.
So, I mean, have you thought of taking this as a serious career option?
I have, but I'm not too sure how well artists do financially in the country. So
Well,
that
we
is-
could
that
always
is-
find out, but I guess it's a bit of a risk there.
I
isn't
know.
it?
So I was thinking maybe definitely I'll be doing it part
I
time.
mean, right now all you got is a Facebook page, but I'm sure if you really think about it, I mean, Amaya, if you take the digital world, there's so much you can do. I mean, recently I came across a website where you can just get anything done for $5. Whether you want people on a camera, you know, singing a song for somebody's birthday,
Alright.
or even if it's a voiceover that you want recorded, so many talented things drawn. Like that, I'm sure there's a lot you can do to expand.
Online, you mean?
Yeah, online.
I'm pretty sure. I'm still to make a Facebook page, I mean a website, and expand from the Facebook page stage, but let's see how it goes.
Because
Great.
I mean, I'm sure that there are there any negative critics or other people who say negative things, and what do you say back to them, you know?
Well, yeah, there are actually. I mean, I had my first exhibition in December, and when I took my drawings to the framing shop, they were just they were like "Podilamekke chitriganalla" kind of thing, right? So
I see.
So I know. I mean, people think they are just a kid's drawing and anyone can do it, but there is a lot of thought that goes behind it. So obviously, it's fair enough for people to think or say anything bad about it. I'm open to criticism, but well, it's just what I do. When people do different things with art, and this is what I do. So
Well,
This
definitely.
is what she does. Irus the doodles.
And the best thing is, before you know it, some of these things can actually be today's growing trend. And especially with focus to things like these, put in, like for example, the big brands like Google. Google is now number 2 brand in the world, according to Interbrands, which was just declared a few months ago. So, especially with these things coming out, I think you've got a good future ahead.
thank you so much, Osama.
Thank you
and
so much
Amaya.
for sharing some of your time here with us this morning, and for sharing with all our viewers as well, Irushi,
Yeah.
and all the best for your future.
Thank you so much.
Maybe you'll be back on the show with your book when it's out.
Yeah, let's hope it's soon. Okay.
Right, Simon? We got a drawing as well. A doodle.
Yeah, we got a drawing which Amaya and I are going to battle it out just
will do
after the show
And
to
right,
see who's going to get the drawing.
and
I'll give you a photocopy, no problem.
well, while we decide that during the break, we are going to go out for a very short break now, but we have coming up some of the officials from the Serenib International Cup 2013 who will be on the show, and we'll be speaking to them about this very exciting IRB sanctioned tournament that's happening in Sri Lanka for the very first time. So stay with us here on Good Morning Sri Lanka.